All right, looks like we're live. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Live with Liz. Today's guest is the very special, always amazing Mr. Jeremy Herider. Hi, Jeremy. How are you?
Hi, Elizabeth. I'm great. How are you?
Amazing.
Love it.
um, we were talking about this. We were talking about this morning about the last time that we went live, and I want to say it was like a little bit. It was like back in 2021, and I was telling you that your optimal self live inspired me to start Live with Liz, and I know that optimal self live was a uh, like a almost like a pandemic project for you, but it ended up being, really impactful. And I think it was probably a really good segue to your podcast.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It actually did. The birth of it was the pandemic. We couldn't go
Yeah.
to the office anymore. We couldn't go to gyms anymore,
Yeah.
and so every day, 5 days a week, yeah, I would go live, pick a topic, and they were trying. The whole idea was it for it to be short, bite-sized pieces that people could sink their teeth into. That could, you know, me. I hate the word motivation, but inspire, make maybe get people thinking. It was a time where there was so much uncertainty that we're just trying to bring a smile most of the time, to people's face to say, hey, like it's really, it's going to be okay, right?
Yeah.
It's not the end. Like
Yeah.
as much as they
Exactly.
want to paint the picture and as much as the narratives went off that way at
Yeah.
times, we just got on and just would go live, pick a topic, do a little research and just rock and roll. So yeah,
My
it's cool
favorite
to hear that.
One of my favorite parts about that was not only your messaging, because it was always positive, and sometimes it was really fun on days where it felt like one day would roll into another because we were locked up at home. And your messaging was really positive. It was really fun. And at the same time, what I took away from your lives every day was that they were very consistent. They were every day at 4:30, you were going live no matter where we were in the world, no matter what we were doing. I mean, I get to have, the all backstage pass to everything. So I see your dedication, but that's when I first noticed like your absolute commitment and consistency in everything that you do. And you inspired, for me to start these Live with Liz. And it's become a thing again. And I'm so happy to be doing them again. And I'm grateful that you're today's guest. We received some really sad news yesterday, and I don't want to keep going with this live without mentioning Paul Humphreys. We lost a great real estate mentor, friend, icon in Santa Clarita. And so, talking about you and your consistency and the things that I really love about you, um, Paul Humphreys was one of those characters in my life that had a lot of really great, wonderful qualities about him. And his legacy is going to live on for a very long time, not just in the real estate industry, but with all the people that he loved and served. So I wanted to do something really fun with you because you are such a special part of my life, is talk about some of the things that Paul did, or maybe one or two things that Paul did and the way he lived his life that inspired you. Can you share something
Oh, I mean,
with us?
yeah, so many. What I'll say about Paul is, and I'll say this from a male perspective, a man's perspective, right? Is
Yeah.
that he was a man's man,
Yeah.
and there was no small talk. Everything always had a purpose.
Yeah.
When even the moments that he sought you out, there was a reason,
Yeah.
and he everything that when I was with him and around him, you know, I'm going to say this. He wouldn't just sit in on meetings to sit in on meetings. If he
Right.
wasn't there and he didn't believe there was value in it, he wouldn't be there. And so the times that I got to sit, with a few of the masterminds that I had personally started, and I was always honored
Yeah.
to have him walk in that room, right? He was always invited, but the fact that he actually showed up, and when he did, the value was, what he would always contribute was unbelievable. And so I'll share two things with you about Paul. For me personally, is that's the number one thing that stood out, is that he looked you in the eye. He was a man's man. His handshake was firm. He was a gentleman. And in that, it reminded me of my grandfather. And so I loved that about him. And there was one time we were at a seminar, whatever you want to call those things, and we did a private dinner, and he never came to those things. Yeah. And he actually came, and I had I got to sit next to him and just talk life, not just real estate, but just life, and to hear, what was important to him and how he saw things. And that'll always stick with me. And I'm going to honor him and not share the exact words that came out, because it was in between the two of us. Yeah. That meant a lot to me. And the thing that stands out the most, and I don't even know if, is when I left that organization, when I was, my time was up, so to speak, and it was time for me to go. Mm-hmm. It was abrupt, and, not everybody saw it coming, but the people who were closest to me did, yourself included. Mm-hmm. And of all the people, which I got reached out by many, many people, he made it very specific. And I'm going to say this. He said, I just called you for this reason. I just wanted to say thank you. Mm-hmm. Your dedication, what you did here, he saw it. And when you're seen by somebody like that, many other people that you would expect to get that phone call from and to say thank you, don't have that same gentleman. They don't have that same integrity. They don't have that. The other thing is they don't have that same security. That man was very secure with who he was, what he had, and that is something that he built over time. And it's something that's dear in my heart. I will never, ever, ever forget that moment with him, and him just saying thank you for what you did and what you brought. And that means more than anything else. Yeah, I totally get that and understand that. And man, it's really powerful to get recognition from somebody like Paul, with such character like Paul. For me, was Paul was like a mentor. I kind of called him like my real estate godfather. He introduced me to Keller Williams, along with a lot of other people. And he had this wonderful way of just always being available to give advice and to be a voice of reason. And one of my favorite things about going into his office was that Paul had a little notepad of prayers that he would say, or like people that he would pray for. And I thought that was just so incredibly giving and loving of him. And I don't know that some of these people even knew that Paul was praying for them. And whether you believe or not, prayer is an intention. And I think that is one of the highest forms of love, is to have somebody think about you and pray for you and give you their best intentions, and to put it out there in that way. And I think that just describes who Paul was. Yeah. He was somebody who wanted to contribute and wanted to give the best of himself to the people around him, but not just of himself. Like, he just wanted the best for the people that were around him. So I'm really proud to have known Paul and to have worked with him. And even being back in this building, I miss
I miss his whistle, and I think I parked in his parking space today. So thank you for letting me do that with you today, and dedicating this to Paul, and just the impact that he made in our lives. All right, so thank you, Paul, wherever you are. We love you. And let's talk about some of the updates that you have. What's going on with you? What are you doing? I know that Optimal Self is still up and running, and you've launched several products, several things to help people, like Paul helped people. You've launched several products that I'm really proud of, but I want you to talk about them, because I think that you do it best.
Well, well, thank you first of all, and I'll say that too. Thank Paul for all his contributions to our lives, and what he showed us, again, not with words but with action, in who he was, just in his stoic self was enough, and that's such a beautiful thing. So
yeah,
I mean, Optimal Self is obviously who I am. That's not going anywhere ever. As long as I'm walking earth, that's who I am and what I do. And it's really, again, no matter what I am in from a business perspective, it's always about creating opportunities for people to be the best version of themselves in what they're doing and how they're doing it. Yes, we did launch the Streak Planner, right? So,
yes.
Again, it's out and about. You can find it at streakplanner.com. And, obviously all of my personal clients use it and still use it. And the podcast and everything about that is still available for everybody. And I'm always there. I love the group sessions too. We still have a couple group sessions that we run. Monday mornings. The Monday Motivation is now like 4 years deep and strong. So that's fun. But and then now I took an equity position and VP of harvest.com. That's Harvest with an I, if you're listening to this and not watching, where we, again, helping agents farm, simplify the farming, and again, a form of lead generation that everybody should be doing, but again, putting it at the hands of the people so that you can be in front of more people, but also doing the most dollar productive activities for yourself. And so it's an incredible project. The people that are involved are just next level. So I'm truly honored to be part of it. And, grassroots, starting from the bottom and moving it along, already through LA, Orange County, San Diego, getting ready to launch in Arizona, Nevada, and Florida. So it's just an incredible project. And the people that, that we're partnering with in each area, it's incredible to see what agents are doing, but also, the top shelf of agents really enhancing their businesses, especially, of course, the DOJ and the commissions, and are they decoupling, and all the things that people keep talking about, and again, I'll say it this way, because we talked about the pandemic for a second. And again, I know you have a lot of real estate people, and you are, again, top shelf realtor and what you do. But I'll say this to anybody that's listening, is that what you have to understand is it's always uncertain times, right? We can go back to we couldn't go into the office in the pandemic and what was going to happen. And then all of a sudden, interest rates, and they're down to 3s and now they're up to 7s. And there's all these things that continue to happen. And here comes another thing, right? Now Jay getting involved, and they want to decouple, and they want to take away the buyer commission or make the buyer pay it. They're saying all these things. It's like, here's what I want everyone to hear. This is always going to happen. There's never a time that it isn't uncertain.
Right.
There's never a time that there's something coming down the pike that's going to throw you off, that's going to challenge you. And that's where your mindset, your belief in who you are and what you do and how you do it. Because what I'm telling you this, I've seen all the numbers.
Yeah.
Harvest, which I see everybody's numbers. I know all of LA County people, San Diego, Orange County. I mean, people that, how many listings they took, how many what their commissions were. I get to see it all. And we sit down in these meetings and we have all these spreadsheets. And what's really interesting is there is a ton of business and sales happening. But you can sit around and talk about, oh my gosh, the interest rates were too low and now they're too high and nobody can move and nobody's going to buy. I promise you this. Yes, they are. And so I just want to really, the people that are listening, again, let's add some value to them. Look, all of these things are going to happen. Mm-hmm. Think about it, right? Let's go. I mean, again, you go back, you can even go back before the pandemic. What were the uncertainties? What were the things that were causing us as companies, right, to go, oh my gosh, are people going to buy? Are people going to sell? What's the next? It all happens, especially in your area, right? Insurance. Yeah. Oh my gosh, insurance is like all these insurance companies are leaving and people are not going to be able to get it. There's all these uncertain things.
Right.
What it comes down to is you. How you respond, what you think, how you see yourself, and what is the thing that I can do? One of my partners in Harvest says this all the times. The best sales is education.
Yep. How
are you educating the consumer? How are you educating yourself? Because again, there's going to be something else. Right now, it's the commissions and decoupling and DOJ. Okay, great. Guess what? Here's what I want you all to know. That's going to work itself out. Yeah. However it is, it's going to work itself out. And then there will be something else.
Yeah.
So stay in your consistency. Stay in the frame of mind. Reframe it so that you can be the best version of you so that you can help people.
And I mean, there's something, I love everything you're saying right now. There's actually a really cool like side by side of Los Angeles magazine, and one of them's from the 70s and one of them is from our current times, and they both have headlines about rent becoming unattainable, interest rates going out of whack. And then it's almost the same exact headline in Los Angeles magazine, but it's just, 50 years apart. And so that just tells you, first of all, be mindful of what you're consuming, right? Because if you're consuming, the doomsday clickbait media, then yeah, that is what you're going to get. You're going to get, commission lawsuit and interest rates are never coming down and home value, the next crash is around the corner, versus truly focusing on data and focusing on the numbers. And sure, sales are down. We all know that. We that is no secret. That is true. However, the lack of inventory continues to keep the market strong. And there are still a lot of buyers that are ready, able, and willing to buy, even with interest rates in the mid 7s. So that is all true. And at the end of the day, people are always going to need shelter. And it is our job to bring them data and to educate them so that they can make the best decision possible for themselves, for their families, and, to fulfill the basic human need of shelter, right? One of my favorite parts about Harvest is that it's the data that agents have access to, and then what agents can actually do with that data through Harvest. And so can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. So basically what we do for the agents is we create personalized, well-rounded campaigns for their geographical area. Now, we are not a CRM. We're not trying to go after your sphere of influence. It's not what we do. We want to add to your sphere of influence. We want more people to see you. We want more people to see you as the expert in what you do. And that's a real important piece. So more than ever, because we went through this phase of likes, right? Mm-hmm. Instagram came out, Facebook came out, right? And everybody was going for, please heart my stuff, please like, please subscribe, all the things that people say today. Yeah. But the truth is that affluent homeowners, depending on your area, and this is all, again, hyper local, but they want to work with the best. the best still get the lion's share because people see them as the best.
Mm-hmm.
So what we want to be able to do is build campaigns with information. I'll say it this way. Marketing has two main pillars: consistency and relevancy. So in your hyper local market, what Harvest is going to do is help build the campaign so it's relevant to the consumers in that area. So it doesn't matter if you're in Brentwood, it doesn't matter if you're in San Diego, it doesn't matter if you're in Phoenix, Arizona. We're pulling and aggregating the data for that very specific area to show you as the expert, and also so that you can know that data as well and use it in everything that you do. Because people want value, they want the information. And I'm not talking about they want to know how much their home is worth. They can jump on the internet and type in their address and they can get 1,000 of those. But here's what I want you to understand is those are algorithm based. When an actual professional agent does it, it's getting the actual data and getting it down to bite-sized pieces so it's relevant to them, to that consumer. Imagine us doing the same thing for you, again, with a click of a button. So again, that is how we help the agent.
We are not live.
It says we're live. It says live on my end. I think you should just keep going.
Though Julie said you're not live on IG or Facebook.
I mean, you can upload it to there. You're live on something.
All right, let's keep going. Sorry, y'all. Let's keep going.
You are watching.
We are live on YouTube.
You're live somewhere. I can tell you that.
We're live somewhere. We'll be uploading this in a little bit. I mean, I love the concept of it. And the most amazing part of the concept of Harvest is that it's automatic. An agent can just set it up and systematically continue to build a relationship with their, with what we call their farm, and, just let it go on autopilot or make, edits as they please, but it actually is getting done. And that's the thing about Harvest, is that it's actually doing the thing that most agents, myself included, are just not doing consistently. And we go back to this word consistency, right? One of my favorite things about, your lives was that they were consistent. I knew that they were coming. I was expecting it. And Harvest creates that same experience for the consumer.
That's right.
They know that, Liz Tolentino is going to be sending them a letter, that Liz Tolentino is going to be sending them a market report, that Liz Tolentino is going to consistently every month send them something of value. And so that's amazing to me. And the exclusivity of it is also really appealing to me.
Well, I'll say it this way, and I want to touch on what you just said, but your exclusivity is right. We only sell the APN to one single agent. We don't sell leads. And if an agent is farming an area, we won't farm that area with any other agent. They own that area as far as Harvest goes. But I'll say something that I'll tap into what you just said about the consistency. And one of the things that you said that is really important is when it was the pandemic and I was doing the lives, and I want to say it was roughly around 6 or 7 months consecutively, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 4:30, go live. Sometimes they were 6 minutes, sometimes they were 26 minutes. And what's interesting is about, I want to say, I don't know, let's say 6 or 7 weeks into it. And I was just late to getting to it. I think we had an internet problem. And so like the internet wasn't popping up. And anyways, we were working through all that. And I ended up in my phone, I started getting text messages from people going, "Hey, are you okay? Are you okay?" Because I wasn't live at 4:30. They're sitting, ready to go. And what's really crazy, and I think this is important for everybody that's listening to this from a marketing perspective, is doesn't mean they were liking it, doesn't mean they were commenting on it, doesn't mean they were sharing it. All the things that we deem to be like, oh, they're paying attention, but they are paying attention.
Yeah.
And then when you're so consistent at something, when you're so consistent and then you're not, the people who are there, they're like, whoa,
What
they
happened?
thought something was
Yeah.
wrong.
Mm-hmm.
They thought something was wrong with me. What
Yeah.
happened? Where are you? Is everything okay? They were just, is everything okay? Because there was an expectation. So I say that, imagine if your geographical area, if these people start to look forward to what you're bringing. That's the thing. It's not
Yeah.
just being what everybody else. Listen, the real estate market from a marketing perspective, especially on IG or TikTok or whatever, Facebook, is crowded. It's a
Yeah.
crowded market. Go on there, pull up every single realtor. They all post exactly the same shit all
Right.
the time.
Yeah.
And so it's crowded, and the consumer isn't really paying attention. Yeah, your mom is, and maybe your aunt and your brother, but consumer is not. And the reason is because it all looks the same.
Yeah. And
So
it
what
all
you
sounds
do is
the
pull
same.
you out of that crowded market and let them see you as an expert. So much so that when they don't get it from you, they're going, hey, wait, where's my monthly update?
Right.
Wait, why am I not? You know what I'm saying? That's the strength.
Yeah.
That's the strength about consistency, and that's the strength about relevancy. Because
Right.
when it's relevant to that person, were the lives for everybody? No,
Mm-mm.
not everybody watched. Most people could give two shits.
Yeah.
But those few that loved it, that were like counting on it, when you
Yeah.
don't show up, they're like, whoa, where is it? That's
Mhm.
how you have to be. You need to be that person for your area, that hyper local area, because real estate is hyper local. You need to be that person.
Right.
That's what we're going to help you do.
Yeah, I love it. I'm so proud of Harvest. I'm so proud of the growth that you guys have had over the last 60 days. I mean, it's been so fun to watch, because everybody involved has been working their tails off to make sure that this is a product that brings value to the consumer, to the agent, and to communities all over. So I'm really, really proud of all of you and really happy to see it grow. Let's talk about, so let's get into a little bit of like optimal self life. Like, let's give our viewers a little bit of that optimal self feel. I told you this morning that I wanted to talk to you about the hardest part of the process is always the beginning, right? And then things get easier afterward. And we find that to be true in anything that we do, whether it's a new career, whether it's committing to being healthier by losing weight, or meal prepping, or committing to a certain number of contacts per day, or committing to something new. The hardest part is usually the beginning, because you think about all of the reasons why it may not work. You are scared because maybe you might not have enough information, or you're listening to the outside noise that can be very loud, and it prevents you from actually making that first step. So let's talk about that. If someone's afraid to sit down for a Harvest consultation, or come in to the free home buyer seminar that I'm hosting on Saturday, what would you say to them? How would you walk them through getting to that first step, and then everything else being easier afterwards?
Well, it's a single word, and the word is belief.
Yeah.
Here's what I mean is that when we do an assessment, it doesn't matter. Even back when I owned the gym, when we would have people come in and say, hey, I want to lose 50 pounds, right? Every person who ever walked in that gym, I did a personal assessment with, right? I had some questions, they filled it out, and then I went through it with them.
Yeah.
And we would talk about what they wanted, what it's going to take to get there, how we're going to do it, what we do as a company, what their commitment needs to look like for themselves. And I can tell you, and this goes with anybody, and even the people that are listening now thinking about going to the buyer seminar and all that kind of stuff, the thing that they're worried about is things that are out of, like, do I really qualify? Can I really do this? What are people going to think? Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a big thing that people fall into.
Mm-hmm.
And when you can even get all over that, right? When you can get over that feeling. And again, I'll say like an assessment where, and I used to sit with him and say, okay, here it is. Here's the plan. If you eat this way, you show up, we weren't like every day. Some people would be like, literally just come twice a week, a couple weeks, then we'll go to 3 times a week. Then we'll graduate from there. It doesn't really matter. And even here is that almost to a person, if I said, do you believe that this process will work, that this plan will work, that the system that is here, do you believe that this will work? The plan, the process, or the system? Almost to a person, they say yes. Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Yes, Jeremy. If I eat like that, I show up 3 times a week, I do those workouts, absolutely I'll lose weight. Absolutely I'll get healthier. Absolutely I'll feel better. 100%. Right. Same thing with it doesn't matter what it is, harvest. If you do this, if you show up, if we do this, do you think somebody will call, you'll get a listing? Yes. 100%. Okay, great. It's never about the plan, the process, or the system. Belief has another side, right? It's the coin. When you flip the coin and you show it on the other side, the most important question that everybody needs to ask themselves right now is, do you believe that you are worthy, capable, and deserving of that result? Because if somebody's scared to come to the buyer seminar, there's nothing. It doesn't cost you any money.
Right.
It doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah.
It's you're worried about what people will think. Oh, what if they see me? Oh, whether they'll be like, why is she there? Why is that couple that didn't make enough money to buy a house? Right. And really, and the truth is most people aren't thinking about you anyways.
No, very few people are.
Even if you actually go down the road, you can. And so if you can get past that point, if you can get past what other people think and what does this look like on the outside to everybody else, right? The external, and you actually go, then what actually happens is you ask them, do you believe that you are worthy, capable, and deserving of this, of having a house, of losing 50 pounds, of being this healthy, of having this type of business, of making $500,000 in real estate or $1 million? Do you? And that's the key, because that's where they pause. That's where the pause comes. That's where the feeling, when you actually think of it that way, because we don't.
Yeah.
It's really not the external, to be honest with you. It's the internal that's stopping us.
Yeah.
And that's what holds us back, is not believing that we have it in us. And I really, really hold on to the word capable, because are you capable? Meaning, can you show up and do this? Yes. Just do that. That's it. Yeah. Just show up, get the information so that you can make an educated decision for you and your family moving forward. Because here's what I will tell you. I just had this conversation with somebody on a harvest demo today. I said, in my real estate days, when I was actually selling real estate, there's a lady, an older lady. She was in her 60s on a fixed income, and she had a ton of equity, right? Just under $500,000 in equity, and that was a lot in the area that I served. And sitting with her, going over all of her information, I said, look, can I share this with you honestly? And she said, yeah, please. I said, I don't believe you should sell. I don't believe you should sell. And she's like, yeah, but the money, and I can do this and I can do that. I said, yeah, but $400,000 is not a lot of money. You're going to live for another 20, 25, 30 years possibly. Right. Yeah. That money's going to be gone in no time. You can afford this on your fixed income. This house you can sell it for. Yeah, it's a little bit big for you. That's fine. Maybe we could find something, but you're going to, where the prices were and where the interest rates were at that time, years ago also, it just didn't make it. She was going to run out of money very, very quickly. Right. Said, do you want to live with your family? Do you want to be, and she's like, absolutely not. I said, I'm sorry. I'm just going to tell you, I don't think you should sell. Yeah. That lady gave me more referrals that year than anybody else. She's like, you mean an actual real estate agent who makes money on commission told you not to do it? Right. And that, again, I'll go back to what we're talking about, is the people that are watching and should I go or should I do it? You should, because you need the information. And from that information, if you're with the right person, they're going to tell you if you should or shouldn't buy. We just had one the other day for you. that we had a conversation with one of your clients that was in a contract that ultimately was not a good contract long-term for them.
Yeah.
And so when you break down all of the information and they can make a quality information for themselves, yeah, you didn't get the sale. But I can promise you this, it solidified that relationship that you are after their best interest and you're not just after a commission.
Absolutely.
That goes in all of our lives. The people that are listening, if you're not even in real estate, right, is that you need to be around people that are striving for those things. Right. Are they just telling you what you want to hear, or can they actually be honest with you? Mm-hmm. And then at the end of the day, when you have the information, do you believe that you're worthy, capable, and deserving of the result of the house, of those things? Right. And if you're not, then that's what we need to work on. And that's all doable. That's the thing. It's not perfect.
Yeah, no, it never is. Yeah, I love it. Worthy, capable, and deserving. All right, so let's, I just wanted to close this out with the reminder that there is a Smart Home Buyer Seminar this Saturday here in Santa Clarita. It's absolutely free. I'm gonna continue to post about it. So if you or anybody you know, this is calling you, if this is for you, if you feel worthy, deserving, capable, come get the information and get on the right track to either buy a secondary home or become a first-time home buyer. We're going to have a little bit of everything for all of the buyers out there. So I hope to see you or somebody that you know here on Saturday. Jeremy, do you have any last thoughts, any last words for this live quiz today?
Show up again for no other reason than get the education, because by you being educated, by you understanding, by you learning, you should learn something new every day, but by you learning, it's going to give you the power back to yourself, back to your family, so that you can make quality decisions for you, for your family moving forward. Just go get the education. Go get it for sure.
That's awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
You are amazing. All right. Have a great rest of your day. And thank you all for watching. And I hope all of you have a good rest of your day. Bye.
Bye-bye.